Hello, good afternoon. We're ready. Thank you, Oscar. I'm very happy to be here presenting Virginia Diez. This is the second time Virginia is around sharing cities. She was here last year presenting Wikipedia in Spain and also talking about the Wikipedia community. And this is the talk that we're going to have today. Is about, it's a talk, it's not a presentation thing, so it's kind of open. You all know that we're going to have this 20 minutes talk right now here. And after that, we're going to start the open forum thing, the lightning talks, in which you are all invited. There are some people who have been already proactive, saying that they would participate here. But anyone that wants to present a project related or with a gender perspective is invited to do so. So, welcome. Virginia, thank you for being here. She has caught a train and just landed from Madrid. From Valladolid, even. Virginia is responsible in Wikipedia. I'm going to shout as the guy over there, hello. Virginia Diez. She works at Wikipedia and she's responsible for the communication, let's say, field, area, etc., etc. She's in touch with many of the Wikipedia communities around the world, I guess, and she's got a very interesting point of view about how Wikipedia is working or how Wikipedia is evolving. I think it's a very interesting conversation that we can have with her right now and ask her questions. I have a lot of questions, and this session is going to be more about talking and asking questions to Virginia than having a PPT slide thing going pim, 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 okay? So, bueno, I have we are techie people, and we are women, so we are always talking about data, facts, and, gender perspective, because we need data to justify or to make ourselves questions about why there is a gender gap, okay, in the text scene. So Wikipedia, we all know Wikipedia. It's an open and free encyclopedia. It's only 15 years old, so it's not even, older, 18 years old, it's true, 18 years old. I was looking up before this session, how many visits do you think Wikipedia, how many page views do you think Wikipedia has every month? It's, I don't know, it's it's a billion, US billions, and it's like 21 US billion page views. So I think every one of us, every single person, maybe per month, makes, I don't know, the conversion rate, but maybe it's about 10, visits or something like that. So there's also 360K users registered and 22 million active users, okay? So this is the first data facts that we can see. My questions are regarding why Wikipedia. So my questions are, how is Wikipedia governance organization works with the gender perspective thing? So we all know that there's bias, there's even a rate. It depends on the country you belong. You can see, although countries have a rating and a ranking, and you can see what is the bias of women's, presence in the Wikipedia thing. So it's a very amazing thing to see who is more sexist. It's a kind of competition around sexism a little bit. So my questions are about how do Wikipedia manage digital rights and privacy, and how do you know how many people, how do you know the community? How do you track the community? How do you know what the community does in the community gatherings and also in the daily, active use of editing in Wikipedia?
Okay, hello. I hope everybody, if you want to participate at any point, just raise your hands and we can have a discussions. There's no PowerPoint, so I hope there will be questions and comments so that we can discuss. And just two very brief things to clarify before we start. I am here representing Wikimedia, and Wikimedia as an organization belonging and affiliate to the Wikimedia Foundation, which is the organization behind Wikipedia, but also behind other 11 free knowledge projects. So this is important to know because I'm not representing Wikipedia as the community, because the community is something much wider than what we do. So just to make that clear. And then also, I'm going to give you some data, some information, but also it's important that whenever we are talking about Wikipedia, to know that we are always talking about language versions of the encyclopedia, but not country versions. For example, Wikipedia, Spanish Wikipedia is a common Wikipedia for all Latin American countries and so on and so forth. So just to, because I'm going to say data and this cannot be related to a territory. Okay, so just to follow up with the first data that you gave, which is more about the visits that we get, I think it's important also to talk, before talking about the gender bias of Wikipedia, to talk a little bit about the participation in general in Wikipedia. The aim of this global community is to collectively construct knowledge. I think this is also something that the Wikipedia community can be very proud about, that we have changed the way in which people create and access knowledge. And this is what has made Wikipedia the fifth most visited website in the world. But it's not because it's I don't know, 1,000 employees doing something. It's because there are millions of people all over the world writing knowledge. Wikipedia has just this year celebrated its 18th birthday, and it has, for example, it depends in many different language versions, but I'm going to talk about Wikipedia in Spanish at the moment. It has more than 1.5 million articles at the moment, and there are 6. I wasn't ready to do this in English, and the numbers are just, I'm sorry. No, I'm going to try. 650,000 edits per month, which means that a Wikipedia edit is made like at a rate of about 14, 15 edits per minute, which is a lot. When we talk about data in Wikipedia, it's important to know that we also have an approach that is very particular about data, because the first thing is we are a non-for-profit platform, so we don't need to collect data in order to make a business out of this data. This means we don't collect as much data as other platforms. And so we have some estimations, but it's difficult to give exact data. In order of edits, for example, just for you to know, one edit can mean someone coming and adding a comma into a text, or someone coming and writing a 2,000-word article. It counts the same in terms of edits. Okay, so it's important to have all this in mind. And then in terms of gender bias, it's also a challenge for us and for the communities to address, like we have identified that there is a huge problem and huge gender gap within the communities, but also with the content itself. But it's very difficult to find exact data. The ways we have to identify gender within the community is that whenever you join Wikipedia, first of all, you can edit Wikipedia without even having an account, which I think this is still amazing, because in many platforms at the moment nowadays, you need to log in, you need to give your personal data, sensible information. In Wikipedia, you still can do it without any logging or anything, which we think is important also because it prevents editors in certain communities to freely share the knowledge they want to share without being tracked. And then when you get a login and a user account, you can decide whether you want to identify your gender identity or not. So the only official data that we have is about those people who have registered accounts, and after having a registered account, they have identified themselves as one or another gender. So if we talk about this, in Wikipedia, in Spanish Wikipedia, we have around 23% people saying that they are women. Also, we know for different interviews that we've carried out within the community at a global level, we know that some of these users are not identifying themselves as women because whenever they do it, they get more harassment that they did when no one knew. This is something very common in FLOSS in general, and of course also in Wikipedia.
So my question, sorry to interrupt you. My question would be, do you think, so 23% out of 100 are actively people, women saying, I am a woman, I am an editor, and so that means that the 77% can be or not also. So we're saying that minimum 23% are declaring themselves as women, okay, which is a high rate, right?
For me, it's a low rate, but but it's not that bad. We are getting better. I was talking with Esther before, and there was the first study that we had at the community. It was in 2011, and it was stated at a global level that women represented only 10% of the community. So it's true that now we are getting more and more resources and policies to make a change about this, but for me it's still a very low rate. Like, we are 50%, so the lower should be higher. But also it's true what you said, that this doesn't mean that the 77% that is left are male, because maybe they haven't identified as any or other. So the estimation is that with this data, we can try to say that, for example, for Spanish Wikipedia, we should have between 15 and 30% women taking part in the community, which is not enough. Yeah.
My next question is, I would like to know, how do Wikipedia, which is the biggest I would say, community, horizontal, with no hierarchy, open in the world, I would say. How does the community self-regulate regarding, the gender perspective, in sense of what are the actions that Wikipedia Foundation and the rest of the 11 Wikipedia, Wiki, whatever, projects. How do you do this? How do you manage this? How do you try to challenge this imposter syndrome or whatever? And how do you do this? I would love to understand what being in the board or near the board of the Wikipedia is, and what do they do to close the gap?
This is a very interesting question and very difficult to answer because there are so many things going on at the same time. At the moment, for the Wikimedia Foundation, we do have a president of the board who is a woman. We have a CEO for the Wikimedia Foundation who is also a woman. And I think this is also making a change because we see that women can be in power positions, which was something that before was more difficult to see. Even the Wikimedia movement in the foundation has always been like, women have been in powerful positions for a long time. But this is one thing that is helping change policy, which is important. Then there are the affiliates around the world and user groups around the world and people committing to the communities that decide to take action for this and, for example, organize editatonas or get to settle arrangements and partnerships, to how to edit Wikipedia with a gender perspective, or how to get more content about female representatives in Wikipedia. And then also there are some, so for me it's both these two ways. There's one part related to policy, which is more structural and organizational, and right now it has a lot to do with a process that we are still living, which is the Wikimedia 2030 strategy process. While we are changing a little bit, we are aiming to change the structures and the policies and the organizational culture that is preventing us to achieve our mission, which is that every single human being has freely access to the sum of all knowledge. And hello, but women are also human beings, so we are changing. We are trying to work a lot on this. Regarding this strategic process, there have been several working groups set up, and one of them was a diversity working group, looking closely about how diversity is handled within the communities in all the different 12 projects and within the organizations. And there is also being a community health working group, which I was taking part of, to see a little bit how the communities can improve the way that we interact with each other, or at the beginning just to analyze and give some recommendations. Because also what we have discovered is that at a community level, the community, the Wikipedia community is an amazing community, but it's true that the rules that we set 18 years ago may not serve for everyone at the moment. And it's the editorial, the notoriety guidelines that we have. After the time and after working with many women and many underrepresented communities, we have got to the point that we need to agree that these policies are not always an equal playground for everyone. So we're doing these kind of actions, review.
What kind of platform do you use to, vote? Do you vote, all of you? I mean, where is the Decidim people? Decidim, they're not here. Maybe you need a Decidim. So how do you do that? Everyone that needs to participates in this specific, perspective with the gender thing that we are always talking about. How do you manage this? Like, if you need to recommend a policy, I mean, I understand that there's someone who makes it, but then you have a community that has to accept it. So probably it's a very difficult thing to have.
Yeah, because that's a very good question, because we always work like at two levels. There's one level about the community and the affiliates and the decisions that are made there, but then the projects, the Wikimedia projects, being one Wikipedia, they have their own independence to decide whether they want to implement or not, and how they take decisions. This is one of the things that happens to change a Wikipedia policy, is the community in Wikipedia who is going to vote and decide that. To have a vote in Wikipedia, you have to have a certain, it depends on the Wikipedia version, but normally you have to have a number of edits, which is, it's a low one, right? It's about 20. I think it's very easy to get.
Comma, 20 edits.
But then you also need to go into the discussions forums where these decisions are taken. We think most of the people editing Wikipedia are still not taking part of the governance processes of Wikipedia, also because maybe the interface is not the easiest one, so that people get there. And also the discussion forums sometimes are places where moderation is not always easy, where a certain culture is reinforced, and this is for example, I'm talking about this because we had a gender equity report launched September last year, and in here this was a report made. I think it was 75 interviews for leader women around the movement, women working with the communities, being active community members, being part of boards in certain affiliates or user groups. And they identified 3 main barriers on what is preventing women to edit more and being more active in Wikipedia. And 40% of them stated that poor community health is a problem. So that they feel the discussion spaces within the platform as a hostile environment. So they don't take part of them. And it's also interesting because as Wikipedia is very informal, and it takes informal ways of doing things. We have, for example, an informal Telegram group for women across Latin American countries, and in there it's like a safe space, and we feel it like a safe space, so we can do certain things that we would rather not do openly in the platform. For example, one of the things that we did, which is also answering your question, for the years, we've been very focused on why there's less content about women in Wikipedia. There are many reasons, and it could be a sociological thesis about this, but one of the things that we thought that was happening, apart from social bias and things that we all know, and also, Wikipedia is a reflect of society. Wikipedia is a second source of information, so it's difficult to publish something in Wikipedia if it's not published somewhere else. If media, if researchers are not giving voices to women, it's very difficult for us to integrate it in Wikipedia. But among all these factors, one thing we were thinking that was happening, because we saw it at the when we organized an editathon to have more women editing about women, we got a lot of articles deleted, and we thought this was a truth, that more women articles were deleted than male articles. So within this group, informal group of women from Latin America, from Uruguay, Argentina, with Esther Bonet from Catalonia, and Wikidone with Wikimujeres, many women, we decided to do an experiment and a test and study for 2 months all the articles that were created and if they were deleted. So we made it, it was a very oh my God, so many articles created, very hard work to do, but we set aside all the non-biographical articles, and then we were comparing male biographies with women biographies, and we found out this. We should repeat this experiment and compare again, but we found out that the problem for this specific question is not that more women articles are deleted. They are deleted at a very similar ratio than male articles. The problem is that they don't get created. So much more male articles are created than women articles. Then the deletion is true that in the end, this was only for Spanish Wikipedia, but the truth is that the community has powerful standards about what can make it to the encyclopedia. You have to have certain number of references and so on and so forth. And there wasn't that much discrimination about male articles. Like we were always saying, and we still say it, you have an article for every football player for the lowest league. You have them all, they're all there. If you write an article about women that is a swimmer, they're not there. You go there, you go to the teams that go to the Olympics, and they are not there. And we thought they got deleted, but the problem is that they don't get created.
So the deleted rate is similar, but the absolute numbers of articles created about men or women are obviously not. So that's one of the points. So yes, this is something that the rating I was thinking was regarding this. It is something that Esther published, I think, or at least I saw you, I don't remember, in Twitter talking about this, and the report, the annual report about this gap, no, like the presence, the visibility of men versus the visibility of women. So we haven't got track of ourselves. That's the point, right?
Yeah, and it's difficult because it's like a cycle, because it's they more biographies about male are created, but also the content that is visited is more, people visit much more and search much more for information about men than about women, and also so it's a very complex thing that we cannot look at only just one metric, because it's a huge thing.
There would be a bias also, right?
Yeah.
No, to me, when I would be asking you questions, maybe my questions are not so interesting. So if anyone in the audience is, open or likely to ask Virginia any question, please do it, because I don't want to be talking all the time. This is
neither.
Virginia who knows a lot. Not me, I am question. So anyone wants to make a question?
Or a comment if
Or
you
a
have
comment,
edited
or, whatever.
Wikipedia, or you have had any experience about this.
I was wondering if you're doing something as an organization to impulse more women to actually write articles, so that the gap of the number of articles written reduces.
Yeah, now...
Perdona. Okay, sorry. I was asking if they have any action implemented as an organization to reduce or to increase the amount of women writing articles for Wikipedia in general.
Yeah, now I'm going to take the hat of Wikimedia Spain, which is the one organization that I can talk more about. And we have, since 2015, we identified this as a major issue for the organization. And we started working on a diversity program that now has been renamed, but it's still there. And since that year, we've done 35 editathons across the country, to working with different institutions to get more women editing, to get them training on how to edit Wikipedia and losing the fear of editing Wikipedia, because this is also something that prevents women, like the imposter syndrome that we were talking about before. This also hits Wikipedia. So we've been doing these kind of actions about increasing women participation within the community. They are, most of the time, these actions are also related about increasing women content within the encyclopedia. So normally we have, for example, this year we had WikiGap, which is a global event together with this is something that started in Sweden with the feminist exterior ministry of foreign affairs, and they did it in many countries with the help of the Swedish embassies. So in Spain we focus on the on creating women, about women scientists and women in tech. Some other countries chose to do women in arts, any other thing. But in this, we got, for example, this year we got, it's just one event, about 6 hours, and we got 30 new articles created. We also have every year one of our major partnerships with the National Library, which is El Día de las Escritoras, and we also do an editathon there. This year we got about 20 articles created. This is also something we are starting to look in a different way, because to be honest, that your first approach to the encyclopedia is creating a new article from scratch is a bit challenging. And so we are trying now to put more effort into engaging with these people coming to the events than creating the actual article in one day. But we are trying to do these kind of things. Also, I think across the movement in general, we are also trying to make visible what women are doing within the communities, and to get... So that people know that women are also part of the community, and they're taking active positions and leadership positions within the community.
I have a question. Sorry. Do you? Sorry. Is there any conduct code or something like that that you can feel safe? You want to participate in all of these different activities?
Yeah, there's the friendly space policy that the foundation created 3-4 years ago, maybe. And I'm asking Esther because she's much wiser than I am and she knows much more. And so any event that is carried out within the Wikimedia movement should have this code of conduct in place. And it's about creating a safe space for everyone. And it applies to offline and online spaces. The problem, for example, is the same one, but the problem, for example, is that the code of conduct is there, but then we are a community made out of volunteers. People need to know how to tackle the code of conduct. And one thing that we have identified is that people sometimes is missing, and there's a lack of training so that you can carry out this kind of conduct and react if something happens.
Good, good.
Hola. I was thinking about language per se, because recently I read an article that in Argentina they are allowing people to write less instead of las. Do you think as Wikimedia Spain you would be open to accept this kind of change and like change the entries, or would that be too political, too complicated, because I think like language needs to change, and until somebody uses it, it will never change, and that's it. Also, I studied languages, so.
I love this question. I am communications in Wikimedia Spain, and for me, I think this is the way to go. It's not always easy to implement it for new in an organization. So I think we go step by step. At the moment, we have gender neutral language as an editorial line of the organization, which is already something amazing for Spanish language, which is completely binary and completely biased. So yeah, that's my answer.
Anyone else wants to ask anything? This is the moment. Well, no. After the lightning talks, you can go over there and ask Virginia whatever. But if there are no more questions, maybe we should move and open the lightning talks with all of you. Thank you, Virginia.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we're opening this moment in which we're going to have people coming in and getting out. We're going to have 3 presentations. Who are going to be spoken in Spanish and in Catalan. And after that, we will have the rest of the presentations. Well, presentations, you know, this is a dynamic, agile moment. So whoever wants to talk comes here and talks and then goes back. If you need a presentation, a URL or whatever, you know, you bring it with you and that's it. But now we were going to start with you, no? And then with Esther, and then with Lourdes, and then we're moving with Jessica Sena from GeoChicas. She's in Paraguay and she's sent us a video, and then the rest of you, okay? ¿Tienes una presentación? ¿Quieres una presentación o no?
¿Quieres una presentación? No, lo hacemos así vía casulana, ¿no? Pues si tienes el templete que teníamos para la presentación, si la puedes poner, siempre es mejor.
Mireia.
Yo seré muy breve. Si pones, a lo mejor mi email te sale, ¿no? Que te lo mandé, sinestesia.1. estaría más que nada sinestesia, así te sale punto 1. A ver si te sale sinestesia. No, pero tienes que poner punto 1 porque si no te sale lo que es la sinestesia. Punto 1. No, con número, con letra, perdón. Por favor, no se vayan, ¿eh? Espera un momentito. A ver, no, a ver, aquí, contactosinestesia.wes. A ver, aquí ahora ponemos en inicio que te saldrá el proyecto y así ya te sale el venadito. ¿Ya? Sí. Hola, bona tarda. Bona tarda a tothom. M'escolteu bé? Sí? Sí? Se m'escolta superbé? No? Ah, sí? Ara, perdoneu, és que la meva experiència amb micro és una mica, el català ho enteneu tot? Sí? O castellà millor? Anglès no, Castellà? Doncs vinga, castellà. A veure, us vull presentar el nostre projecte, que és un projecte d'activisme feminista i d'animals, O sigui, ai, perdoneu, és que se me'n va el pilot al català. Es un proyecto que empezó en el 2015. Esta es nuestra tercera edición, es la tercera convocatoria de arte contra el maltrato animal. Nuestra idea es vincular a los artistas a una iniciativa social, como es la temática animalista en este caso, para visibilizar la impotencia que tenemos los que nos dedicamos al trabajo vinculado a los animales, digamos, a esta invisibilidad social que hay de cara al maltrato. Actualmente estamos ahora en el Museo de Ciencias Naturales con 60 artistas, 2 protectoras de caballos. Estáis todos invitados a participar. Tenemos un proyecto educativo también porque la incidencia se ha de hacer a partir de la educación. Es importante educar a niños ya que sean perfectos humanistas y feministas, que no nos lo olvidemos, Y nada más, simplemente agradeceros la oportunidad de poderos comunicar el proyecto y bueno, que ojalá estas iniciativas se repitan muchísimo para que todas y todos, que vamos a ser inclusivas, podamos participar del género que es el nuestro y el por qué debemos apostar. Gracias. El proyecto El Venadito Art. Mira.
Muy bien, muchas gracias. Ahora Esther, sí. A ver si lo hacemos rápido esto. Holy shit. A ver. Tú vas presentándote si quieres. Así. Bueno, yo voy a hablar en relación a lo que ha explicado Virginia por el tema de que no hay mujeres editando. Voy a hablaros de un espacio que hay en la Universidad UPF, o sea, la Universidad Pompeu Fabra en Barcelona, todos los martes, donde enseñamos a editar a hombres y a mujeres, pero nos centramos muchísimo en el tema de las mujeres editoras. ¿Sí? Bueno, a ver, yo le digo que es un espacio de guerrilla, porque editar en la Wikipedia hay que ser un poco guerrillera. No puedes entrar luchando con sables, porque te echan fuera al cabo de un minuto. Entonces, enseñamos a editar, pero sobre todo enseñamos a rescatar biografías. Cuando leemos la Wikipedia, no nos extraña ver cosas como esta, ¿no? Ella fue la musa de, fue la mujer de, fue la madre de, fue la inspiradora de, pero nunca lo vemos, por ejemplo, en un Darwin, ¿no? Nos encontramos que Darwin nunca explica que tuvo 11 hijos, que un estudio que hizo para investigar el cruce de plantas. El cruce de plantas era porque tenía una hija que tenía unas ciertas deficiencias. Esto no lo explican nunca, pero la vida personal de las mujeres es lo que más gusta. Entonces hacemos 2 cosas, revisar biografías y darles el tono que hay que tener, pero después también, y por eso os he puesto el efecto Matilda, recoger todas aquellas mujeres que consiguieron logros, pero que al final se los quedó un hombre. Entonces, estos son dos trabajos importantísimos que hacemos. Pero además, enseñamos a dialogar en este mundo online que está formado por hombres, porque también cuesta. Entonces, ¿qué hacen en este espacio?
vienen con problemas. Me han borrado un artículo, me han puesto una plantilla que no sé qué quiere decir. Y aquí, en este espacio pequeño, pero que es cada martes, vamos solucionando problemas y vamos avanzando. Porque no hay mujeres que editen y no sabemos por qué. Entonces creemos que si hacemos un trabajo de unirnos, poco a poco vamos montando una guerrilla para combatir. O sea, es trabajo de guerrilla. Y esto es lo que nosotros hacemos. Porque no tenemos plan B. Si no contamos la historia en la Wikipedia, nadie nos la va a contar por nosotras. Y por tanto, esto es lo que las mujeres tenemos que entender. Los hombres, si se quieren apuntar, bienvenidos. Que somos nosotras las que tenemos que estar trabajando en este espacio. En este espacio está bien también porque vienen estudiantes de Erasmus, editan en sus lenguas y también se llevan con sus lenguas el mismo problema porque no hay ninguna Wikipedia en ninguna lengua que se salve. Entonces, es un espacio libre que nos cede la universidad que la verdad es que cuando vienes, a veces con 4 sesiones ya tienes bastante. Lo que importa es atreverte a editar y atreverte a continuar editando. Os voy a poner un ejemplo que antes también ha comentado. Todo se consensúa. En la Wikipedia catalana, la página inicial siempre tiene efemérides. Casi nunca salen mujeres. Cuando preguntamos por qué no salen mujeres, dices, es que tienen que salir cuando hay números redondos. Ha hecho 100 años que ha muerto, ha hecho siempre. Entonces, es muy difícil porque si solo hay un 25% de mujeres o un 16%, conseguir que una mujer tenga un número redondo para que salga en la primera página es súper difícil. Entonces, como también ha dicho ella, va aumentando mucho más las biografías de hombres que de mujeres. Nunca cerraremos esta brecha, esto es verdad. Pero sí que podemos hacer que votando mujeres podamos conseguir que en la primera pantalla de la Wikipedia, en efemérides, como mínimo, salga una mujer cada día. ¿Cómo se consigue? Votando. Como normalmente somos pocas, siempre perdemos todas las votaciones. Entonces, ¿qué hacemos también en este espacio? Enseñar a votar. ¿Cómo se vota? Pues entrando y diciendo, pues yo quiero que sea esto. O sea, son cosas muy sencillas, pero que si no te pones y lo haces, no avanzas. Bueno, animaros los martes a venir a aprender a editar y a continuar.
Gracias. Thank you, Esther. Lourdes.
Creo que se la ha descargado. Bueno, muchísimas gracias por invitarnos. Somos de Iniciativa Barcelona Open Data, que primero explicarnos qué somos brevemente. Simplemente es, y no poco, intentar generar un hub de conocimiento usando los datos abiertos. No tanto publicar, sino ayudar a que iniciativas sociales o públicas o entidades o pequeñas empresas que no tienen acceso al uso masivo de datos puedan reutilizar los datos. Y sobre todo nos estamos centrando en eso, en el uso social y ciudadano de los datos abiertos. Sin duda, en consecuencia, uno de nuestros trabajos más importantes en el tema datos y género, ya que es una reflexión que nos hemos hecho y nos preocupa en la presencia de datos con perspectiva de género. Primero, por la falta de incorporación datasets abiertos con perspectiva de género que traten los problemas fundamentales que afectan a las mujeres, desde la discriminación laboral a la violencia de género. Si vais a cualquier catálogo de datos de cualquier nivel de gobierno y buscamos mujeres, género, igualdad, el número de datasets de esos temas son mucho menores que otros. Segunda reflexión, si los datos desagregados por género de las cuestiones que afectan a las mujeres no están, esos datos no estarán en los programas de Big Data. Y por tanto es fundamental estar ahí porque si no las predicciones no contemplarán las diferencias de género. En ese sentido, Iniciativa Barcelona Open Data trabajamos por el derecho a saber, por el acceso a la información pública y hablamos del derecho al derecho a saber con género, también desde esta perspectiva. Y por tanto, nuestros trabajos intentan incorporar la perspectiva de género siempre a todos los proyectos de Open Data públicos. ¿Cómo usar o cómo trabajar el impacto social de los datos? Os nombraré brevemente 3 de los proyectos que hemos hecho más emblemáticos, clasificados de data y género para nosotras. Primero, la generación de una app que se llama iCuida, que está en marcha y que es un trabajo de inclusión social, innovación social basada en datos, donde a través de 2 rondas hemos trabajado por los barrios con mujeres de base que han ayudado a decidir ellas cuáles debían ser las especificaciones de una app que ayude a las mujeres cuidadoras a poder mejorar su actividad económica. El segundo proyecto es un proyecto que hicimos con el Gobierno de Canarias, en el que a través de una expedición de datos, un evento innovador donde mezclamos a personas muy diferentes, identificamos datos sobre conciliación y corresponsabilidad, tanto para identificar estos datos para mejorar la política pública. En este sentido, en general, nos encontramos que la gente de tecnología, Open Data, conoce los datos, pero otros ámbitos de la administración, ámbitos sociales, de promoción económica y de igualdad, no usan estos datos abiertos y, por tanto, que estos datos se utilizaran y que marcaros nuevos datos también que habían que publicar para mejorar esas políticas públicas de género. Y después hicimos una acción muy social, que es con estos datos animar a las entidades de mujeres de todas Canarias a hacer visualizaciones, haciendo unos talleres sobre herramientas de visualización y, por tanto, mezclando el conocimiento de igualdad y el conocimiento de data. Y el último es un proyecto que acabamos de poner en marcha, que se presentó hace un mes con el Ayuntamiento de Santa Coloma, que muy pronto inaugurará, está poniendo en marcha un gran centro de más de 6.000 metros cuadrados para mujeres de muchos temas, pero una de las cosas que van a trabajar con nosotros y nosotras es un observatorio de datos abiertos y género, con el objetivo, y hemos hecho una primera entrega sobre datos de prostitución, donde lo que hemos hecho no es tanto nosotros abrir datos públicos, que somos una organización privada, sino recopilar datos que había a muchos niveles, el mundo, Europa, Cataluña y España, y hacer alguna compilación de datos que no eran datasets, que eran Excels, y los hemos publicado todos en abierto. Pero el observatorio quiere ir más allá y quiere hacer un trabajo sistémico de recopilar datos abiertos, como hemos hecho de prostitución de otros temas, de identificar datos que existen y no se publican en abierto y son imprescindibles para identificar las diferencias o las discriminaciones, y también un trabajo, cómo no, que es nuestro leitmotiv, de divulgación de toda esta tecnología, de todos estos datos y de generar conocimiento basado en datos de género entre las mujeres, los grupos de mujeres y las mujeres que muchas veces están en entidades sociales o hacen estudios universitarios de género, pero no están acostumbradas a trabajar con datos abiertos o con tecnología data en general. Por tanto, en general, trabajamos eso. El último proyecto que os nombraré es un proyecto también colaborativo que se llama Datos Violencia de Género. En este caso, a principios de año hubo una gran polémica en España sobre los recursos públicos o no respecto a la violencia de género. Pensábamos que nuestra mejor aportación a este debate era poner datos encima de la mesa, y en este sentido llevamos haciendo un montón de, más de 9 exploraciones colaborativas para recopilar datos que complementen los datos públicos existentes y de aquí muy poco, antes de final de año, haremos una primera entrega de un portal sobre datos y violencia de género y recursos públicos. Para acabar, deciros esto, queremos promover las oportunidades con los datos abiertos y en concreto, como no, las oportunidades del 50% de la población, porque creemos que si no hay igualdad en los datos, difícilmente se construirán políticas públicas de igualdad. Gracias.
Olé. Bueno. So now we're going to proceed, a ver, to see. Ahí está aquí. Jessica. Jessica is someone who's representing GeoChicas, the mapping community around OpenStreetMap, and GeoChicas is the woman-centric, I would say, community. But right now, Jessica is in Paraguay, so she has sent us a video. A ver. Bueno.
Estamos vinculadas a OpenStreetMap y a las geotecnologías. OpenStreetMap, para aquellos de nosotros que no lo sepan, es una plataforma colaborativa a nivel mundial para crear mapas abiertos y de libre. Para darnos una idea, dentro de Wikimedia, pero en los tiempos de la mayoría del mundo puede llegar a conocimiento que tenga sobre las ciudades y las ciudades. Este año ha alcanzado los 5 millones de usuarios registrados y tiene alrededor de 1 millón de colaboradores activos. Se ha convertido en un caso de datos de conversación abierta y colaborativa y global. Pero sigue habiendo un problema. Se estima que solo el 3% de nuestros colaboradores. Y bien, ¿qué implica esto? Pues implica que en OpenStreetMap tenemos un gran data gap, una brecha en los datos. Aunque cuando se mapea se pueda pensar que el criterio es objetivo, decisiones como qué mapear o no, o qué información cualitativa dar, son completamente subjetivos, son una decisión personal y puede variar de una persona a otra. Por ello, es tan importante que más mujeres colaboren en la plataforma, para ser capaces de capturar en el mapa nuestra visión de la realidad y proveer información y datos que efectivamente son importantes para nosotras. Desde GeoChicas, uno de nuestros principales objetivos es incrementar este 3% y luchar contra el data gap, además de potenciar que más mujeres participen en la plataforma y también fomentar sus roles de liderazgo. ¿Y cómo hacemos esto? Pues a través de diferentes iniciativas y proyectos, de los cuales os voy a poner ahora mismo 2 ejemplos. El primero es este. Para nuestro segundo aniversario como grupo, este año lanzamos esta campaña para promover el tagueo y el mapeado en OpenStreetMap de servicios, instituciones y equipamientos para mujeres. Actualmente en OpenStreetMap hay una clara falta de tags oficiales para este tipo de servicios y los que hay tienen una representación muy baja. Por este motivo nos decidimos a lanzar esta campaña. El segundo proyecto del que quiero hablaros es este, las calles de las mujeres. En este proyecto hemos creado un mapa mundial para el cual en algunas ciudades hemos pintado las calles que tienen nombre de hombre y las que tienen nombre de mujer, para poder hacer un análisis comparativo entre los dos grupos y ver qué porcentaje representa cada uno. Además, para cada una de las calles de mujer detectadas, hemos buscado su correspondiente enlace en Wikipedia y lo hemos hecho accesible desde el mapa. De este modo también hemos visto cuántas de estas mujeres famosas tampoco tienen entrada en la plataforma de Wikipedia. Este es un ejemplo con la ciudad de Buenos Aires dentro del proyecto. Y con las calles de las mujeres lo que buscamos es hacer visible la escasa representación de mujeres en el espacio público de nuestras calles y en el espacio digital. El proyecto es completamente open source y nuestro objetivo es que cualquier persona interesada pueda colaborar añadiendo su ciudad. Por último, solo añadir que un mapa creado sin diversidad puede llevarnos a una visión sesgada y por tanto a decisiones sesgadas. Un mapa, al estar hecho por personas, siempre va a tener un sesgo. De lo que se trata es de trabajar para minimizarlo al máximo posible. Porque ¿cómo vamos a conseguir representar la realidad adecuadamente sin que todas las personas que formamos parte estemos implicadas en ello?
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Hola, hola, hola.
El tema de hoy es la glucogenólisis.
Sorry. Hi.
Hi, hi, hi. Can you hear me? Higher, higher. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm here representing CodeBar. Okay. Yeah. So CodeBar is a non-profit initiative, and our aim is to bring diversity into the IT world. Okay. And to make coding more accessible. Okay. So our main goal is to enable underrepresented groups to learn how to program in a safe environment and a collaborative one. And to achieve this, we run free workshops every other Thursday here in Barcelona, particularly. And we also have a community in Slack, and we try our best to give other opportunities to our students. So CodeBar started in the UK in 2014, but right now there are more than 27 cities around the world that have a CodeBar chapter, and in total there are more than 15,000 members in our community. So in Barcelona we meet at different companies, so that's how we do our workshops. There are different companies that share our goals, that also want to bring diversity into the tech world, and they offer their spaces and drinks and food, so we can run the workshops there. And we also have a community of coaches, mentors, that know a programming language, and they come voluntarily and they teach whatever they know. Okay. So here in the Barcelona chapter, we've been running for 3 years, and right now we have more than 400 students logged in our platform, and also more than 200 coaches, also volunteers, and we have run more than 60 workshops around the city, and we have a total of 17 sponsors, so companies that host the workshops, but we are still growing. So if you're interested in CodeBar, you can visit our website. Everything is open source, everything that we do. So you can also go to our GitHub and you can see the projects that we are doing. You can see our website. You can also email us if you have any questions. And you can also join our Slack channel, where our community help each other, and they share links or useful information to reach our goal, which is diversity in the IT world. So, yeah, if you have any questions, we can talk later. So that's it. Thank you.
¿Quieres ir tú? ¿Quieres que te ponga algo?
Sí.
A ver, ¿qué te vamos a poner? ¿Qué quieres?
Perdón.
Well, hello, good afternoon. I'm Laura Rosillo. I came from Kalala Women's Fund. First of all, I think it's important to explain a little bit what's a Women Fund, just to understand what we are doing in Kalala. Women's Fund are based on the idea that the feminist movement have been and will be the main actors that will achieve really goals and improvement on what's about gender justice is about. But the money that is related with the women's rights is not in the grassroots groups of women, but it's monopolized in a way of the big NGOs. So that's when Women's Fund, we are funders that are specialized in mobilizing those economical resources to the grassroots groups of women and the movements of women and feminist movement. Kalala, we work in Central America and also in Spain. In Central America, we are working with women human rights defenders and also regarding the decriminalization of abortion. And in Spain, we are focused on strengthening the feminist movement, but also more focused on the migrant women movement. So being here for us is really important because we just started to being conscious about how important it is to protect our data as a women's fund. We started just last year because the context and the concept that is living in Latin America, the women human rights defenders that we are supporting implemented a model of feminist comprehensive protection. They argue that you have to be really strong in the physical, ancestral, and psychological, and also the digital way, just to be strong and to strengthen the movement you are supporting. So in that sense, they show us how important it is to protect the data that we, as a women's fund, are managing, the data that we are managing of the groups we are supporting. So we started that long process last year, and now, okay. So now, since the last 8th of March strike in Spain began the great visibility of the feminist movement in Spain, also the aggressions and the repression against the feminist movement start growing also. So I don't know if you can see it, okay? So now in Kalala, we have a call for application that ends the 31st of December of this year. So the main goal is to protect and strengthen the feminist movement and the feminist activists and groups that support human rights that have been criminalized or are suffering violences because of their feminist activism. So we can support for legal expenditures, to report, also for strategic litigation, and also to build fundraising and communication campaigns. Maybe it's important to highlight that for this call for applications, we are working with Red Maya, that is a secure platform to report institutional and police repression. So you can only report through the Tor browser, and Red Maya works through different nodes that are spreading around the state. And on the other hand, we also are focused on the gender-based violence online. We are doing a research with feminist feminist lawyer Laia Serra and Pícara Magazine, and also Frontline Defenders, Commons, and with collaboration with APC. And last year, in December, we present to the Spanish Parliament this research on the gender violence online, and also with a series of recommendations for the government. For example, some of the recommendations were about the idea to develop a comprehensive definition of what's about gender-based violence online, seeing it as a continuum of the rest of the violence that women are suffering, not just a isolated case. And also seeing the specificities that this ICT is giving to those violence. I mean, being anonymous, the replicability, the impossibility to delete those contents. So then, this research is still developing because we are now more focused on the protection for feminist activism. In March this year, we gathered some highlighted activist feminists in Barcelona, here in Barcelona, to talk with them what are their experiences on the gender-based violence online, and how they are developing like a personal strategies to face those violence. All of that in the way to try to build a community and a community response and a strategy to those violences. So now, that's when we started working with Commons and Híbridas. So now they are developing research specifically for gender-based violence on feminist activists. This research is not finished yet. In fact, the last week we have the first drop, so I cannot say many information about that. But for example, some information that I can bring here is that Twitter, WhatsApp, and email are the channels, the most aggressive channels for the feminist activists. And also the typology of aggressor is an obvious white men, cis, heterosexual that are attacking people that have a strong non-hegemonic political position. Trans people, LGBTIQ community, sex workers, Muslim, Romani, migrant women, and maybe that's it. I hope that you can see here we have also translated in English the research, and then we have also here a manifesto and different articles of this encounter of feminist activists that we did in Barcelona. And also here you have our call for applications, and you have me here if you have any more information, just to talk with me.
Alika, do you want to come?
I can go to our website. Hello, everybody. My name is Malachi Johnson, and I live in Washington, D.C. I'm here representing the Grassroots Economic Organizing Collective. We are a media collective made up of researchers and activists reporting on everything that has to do with worker cooperatives and the solidarity economy. This past 6 months, I was able to do a project under this organization called the Take Care of Each Other World Tour, where I interviewed architects, engineers, farmers, and people interested in cooperative business models about their sustainable visions for the future. I had a partnership with the Moreland Spring Iron Research Center at Howard University, which is also in Washington, D.C. And the point of the project was to make sure that future generations knew that there were people gathering just like you all, talking about these things and thinking these things, because we don't always see them in the outside world.
And I also got the chance to go to Ghana as a sort of culmination to the tour with a cooperative conference with people from California who are also committed to cooperatives and enacting them in their community, and having an exchange with Ghanaians who are also committed to cooperatives there, and seeing how we could support each other. So the point was to be a firefighter for these types of imaginations, and to make sure that we could understand that these things are happening in the future, or to make sure that we could understand that these things are happening now, and that people in the future could understand. I'm sorry, you all. I'm a little nervous. Could understand that these things are happening now. That's all. What else should I say? I suppose that is all. You can talk to me more about it. On Thursday, I'll be over there exhibiting, or after this talk. Okay, thank you.
Luca from Arts Games.
Hi, hello, my name is Luca. Yeah. Todo bien. Hi, my name is Luca. I'm here representing a small organization called Arts Games. We are a no-profit organization, very small, but with an international profile. We are based actually in Spain, Barcelona, and Madrid, and also in Mexico. So we do a lot of different works in the crossroads between arts, education, political action, civic engagement, gamification, all through the use of video games technology for the social change. So our aim is to use video games as a product, as a design tool, as a space of conflict in order to foster social change. We have a very strong gender perspective in our collective. In our status, we are like 2 men and 2 women, and this is one of the main structure of our organization. Never will be more men than women. It's something very important for us. Also, we work with video games. Video games as a product, historically, is a male-oriented product, very machist. So what we are trying to bring in these products, in this media space, is a feminist perspective that can transform the feeling, not just of video games, but in general of technology. So we do a lot of different kind of works, like radical game design workshop, where we try to watch, to see at video games from another perspective, bringing feminist perspective into video games. So just to understand video games, not like industrial products to buy and to sell, but as a media space of conflict where people can create different identity. So the final goal is to bring diversity in this medium, because we feel that video games are the most contemporary media of our time. So it's very important to be there and bring a different touch, a different perspective on this. So just very, very, very fast. We have done a lot of academic research on the presence of women in video game industry, the representation problem of women in video games in general, because it's a big issue. I think all of you knows the problem that is a very male-oriented industry. So we try to bring a radical and critical perspective on these issues, on these topics, not just from academic stuff, but also working with communities. In the next months, we will launch, in next December, we will have a local meeting of women, technology, and gender and video games gender meeting, where we will try to create as a bigger community of activists, researchers, and people that is interested in order to try to create a civic observatory about video games and women. And all of this we will bring to next year to the publication of a book we are starting to write about gender, technology, and video games. You see me as a male, she's male, but we are a lot of people, a lot of different people. Usually this kind of talk is brought by my colleague, Eurydice, that is a very strong person and woman. But also I think it's very important for male people like me be in this kind of space as an ally, because it's not just a female issue, it's a topic of everyone. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you. No, aquí.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm here representing CodeUp. CodeUp is an international coding school focused on women and the TGNC folks. What we do is that we train them in bootcamp models. They are intensive education, so it's in 11 weeks. The people that come into our programs become developers. We mainly use JavaScript as a teaching language, and they also learn React, Vue, MySQL, Express. And we wanted to share a video because we have realized that a lot of, especially women and underrepresented people in tech, have this idea that tech is not for them, or that it's too difficult, or that now they already pursued another career, what am I gonna do? And it's just to give an idea that you can change careers within 11 weeks if you do like a very hard work, and it's possible, everybody can do it. And we want to show you that with our video. Bueno, igual tiene caption.
Okay, where I'm from? Difficult one.
I'm from Sweden.
I'm from Ghana.
I was born in Germany. I grew up in the Netherlands, but my family is Greek. Georgia.
From LA. 27 years old.
31.
28.
21. 30 years old.
I am 18. Well, I studied business administration and a master's in innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. I was actually a high school student. Environmental biology.
I studied international business and management, and then I specialized in digital marketing.
I was a UX designer in London.
I've been working in digital marketing for over 2 years now.
I was working for a teleradiology company.
Before the bootcamp, I I knew zero code. Very, very little.
Actually, I did 2 bootcamps before the one I'm doing now, but I always had the feeling that I never know enough.
I did roughly a year of Java. A little bit. I tried to teach myself JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and R on my own. I knew nothing. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to code anything before I started bootcamp.
What I like about coding is that it feels like magic.
I love the freedom that it gives.
You feel that you are using your brain a lot.
I like how it's a game you're always playing with yourself to continuously improve.
It can be really hard to make something work sometimes, and it can be frustrating.
There's actually nothing I dislike about coding.
The bugs, that's it. What I dislike is the bugs.
There's nothing I dislike about coding.
Fear.
Excitement then.
Excited?
Lost? Roller coaster.
Confused?
Excited?
Scared.
Anticipation.
More excitement.
Okay, so yeah, just letting you know that it's possible. If you know anybody who's interested in transitioning into tech, it's possible. You can do it in 11 weeks intensive, or we also offer part-time programs. So you can still work and then do the classes during nighttime, 2 times a week. And we have new programs starting in January and February. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions or interested in collaborating with us. We're also collaborating with other tech companies around the world and Barcelona. And we also have some students that are very interested in video games. So maybe they will be interested in talking to you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Sí, sí, toma, vamos a sacarlo de aquí. Ah, no, ya lo hemos... Está aquí. Vale. Gracias. Nada. So now it's my turn. I am now wearing my Digital Femmes hat. I've got many hats. I have the Dimmons, who's in charge of this hat, and now I'm using the other one of the other ones. I'm going to very, very briefly talk about also an initiative regarding gender and tech. And what we're going to do is work together with some of the people who are in this room, the Decidim people, and we're going to pair with CodeBar. So we're going. I don't know if any of you know about Decidim. Decidim is one of the projects that has been, shown and exhibited in one of the screens, and well, it's in Barcelona. It's kind of everywhere. I am very corporate right now. Sorry, but the point is. There's a big question. So we have heard many projects here around tech and women and the gender gap. So when we talk about gender and we talk about tech, if we want to get close to understand what the gap is, we need to understand also that when we talk about privative software, the community is built up 70% is males and 30% are women. When we talk about FLOSS, when we talk about free, Libre, open source software, this reduces to 2%, kind of. It depends on the source. I have some sources here which are data facts, so I'm talking about something that I've been doing some research. And we can say that the gap is among, maybe the community is built up 2% of women, or it can go up until 20%, okay? But the point is that there is a gap. If we talk about a community in which the main goal to achieve is participation, active participation of all of the members of the community, what we want is to find a way in which women can also participate freely, with no imposter syndrome, with no bueno, no me sale ni en castellano, I'm not even able to say it in Spanish, the word. I mean, to feel free to be member of a community means that you can interact with it. And the first thing is that if you are building a community and this building thing is related to software, we should all take action on making possible that women are also able to get in the community and build software. And this is one of the projects that Decidim is going to focus and tackle. We have a plan, and what we want is get more tech women building the software open source community, because Decidim is an open source community. It is a community that is focused on participating and participation of entities, or even the city hall of Barcelona, etc., and other, maybe other 50 cities, and I don't know, maybe another 80 institutions. So it's a very big software. The penetration of it is very high, not only in Barcelona, in Helsinki, and in big cities around the world. And this technology, this platform, enables people to interact with each other, vote. It's a democracy. It's a direct democracy project. So what we're going to build is we're going to work very hard to make more women inside the software layer, I would say. And we're going to do this by making a big effort with like tech communities that we have been hearing here. All of them are friends. So we're going to make it possible. I mean, we're building a strategic plan in which we're going to generate, I would say, and here it's a very famous sentence, a circular economy, right? We're going to be able to generate a plan in which every single person or every single entity who is part of the Decidim community is going to participate in educating and showing how to build software in about also 10 weeks. Not as intense as the CodeBar people, but we're going to work on it. This is the Decidim Fem Squad plan. I'm not going to go very, very deeply on it because it's not polite to be talking here and, putting hats and taking them off. Maybe someone would say that I'm taking advantage of my position, so I'm not going to talk about this. This is a project that is going to be paired with CodeBar and Decidim Digital Fems. And, I mean, we will have more results and facts in, I guess that by May of next year, and probably if there's another meeting next year, another sharing cities, we will be able to show the results of this, and we will be able to throw the data in which we will have been able to include much more women in the software development community around Decidim than today. That is our challenge. So thank you very much. And I would say that we are on time. At 5 o'clock, there's a very big meeting here. You know that the Sharing Cities Encounter is a closed meeting in which around 30 cities from the world, which belong to the Sharing Cities, mood, are having a meeting right now, and they are going to share the outcomes of this meeting in about 20 minutes here. So we are able to move a little bit and wait to see what these guys are going to tell us. These guys and women, eh? So thank you very much, all of you, for your sharing your knowledge and your projects. I am very proud and very honored to have been able to have this full almost room. Thank you very much again.